Good morning. Day 11 of Maritimes and Newfoundland. It's August the 20th, and we're just departing St. John's now. We're going to head to Gander. So, really, this is the furthest point on our journey. I guess from here on in, we can think of ourselves as heading for home. We still have lots of touring to do on our way, but we're basically, from now on, our overall direction is going to be west. So we've departed from the hotel, as I said. We're just heading out of St. John's. We're just getting on Highway 2 here. There's the old train station. The railways, of course, are long gone. But this was basically the start of the Trans-Canada Highway, and as I've mentioned, I think, in yesterday's video, there's now a bypass which is considered the Trans-Canada Highway, but our hotel is just 2 doors down from the City Hall in St. John's, which is considered still mile zero of the Trans-Canada. So we're headed out. We're going to Gander. It's a bit of a rainy morning, a mawsy morning, as they say here in Newfoundland. But because it was cool. It was really cool this morning. Rainy, damp. Ugh. But anyways, we don't control the weather. We just control how much we enjoy what we do. So we're going to enjoy our day here. We're going to head out um, up to Terra Nova National Park, spend some time there, have our lunch there, and then head on up to Gander. So these are just some scenes as we head up to Terra Nova. We're going to take our coffee break at Clarenville. So this first little bit, all these scenes are shot in the Avalon Peninsula, which our tour guide told us that geologists think was actually attached to Scotland back before the plates shifted. And the main part of the island they think may have been attached to Africa. I guess they can tell that by the landforms and the geology of the area. There's no trees here. The reason for this, I understand, is because we're above the tree line. It doesn't seem like we're really very high, but there certainly are no trees up here. Lots of beautiful vistas driving around in Newfoundland. The water you can see there on the left, that's inland fresh water. They call them ponds. Everything in Newfoundland, if it's not part of the ocean, is pretty much called a pond. And all the rivers are, almost all of them, called brooks, no matter how big they are. To me, a brook is something that's very small, but that doesn't seem to be the way they've used the terminology here. And this is what the Trans-Canada Highway is like all the way across the island, pretty much. A couple of stretches of 4-lane when you get to some of the more major towns, but it's pretty much all 2-lane with a good length of passing lane. Now this is on our right here. This would be an arm coming in off of the ocean. A long, long, long bay off of the ocean coming in. And we're just coming into Clarenville, I believe, for our break. So we've just left the Avalon Peninsula behind and gotten into the main island. So this is Clarenville that we're coming through here. And what we're looking for is we're looking for a hotel, the St. Jude's Hotel. We got a tip from one of our tour directors from this same tour company that is often in Newfoundland and in fact was born and raised here, who gave us a tip that this place that we're going to, St. Jude's Hotel, is a far better coffee stop. And they did. They put on a really nice coffee break for us. They have nice clean washrooms. And they put on home-baked cookies and some Sara Lee muffins. They're just down here, not too far ahead of us on the left-hand side. Now, sometimes we have issues arise when we're on a tour, and on this tour, we ended up with something happening here. One of our passengers who likes to go off on walks on our breaks, very reliable person, has never been late previous to this, ended up getting lost on his walk. And it got to the point where we ended up, we were calling the police actually to see if we could figure out what had happened. And I took the rest of the group on to Terra Nova after this break. And somebody from the hotel was nice enough to actually, when he was found, brought both the tour director and the lost fellow up to meet us at the park. It's about a 40-minute drive, I guess, plus a lot of stops due to construction. There's a lot of construction on the Trans-Canada Highway in Newfoundland right now. But this is our coffee stop. It's very good. Next scene. Here we are. We're in Terra Nova now, actually. I didn't show you any of the construction stuff that was going on in between. I was annoyed at it, so I didn't want to put the camera on. But anyways, we're just going to go to the visitor center here at Terra Nova, and they get to watch a video presentation, and then they are going to have lunch here. And there's also a bunch of sort of touchy-feely science type of things they can do here. There are touch tanks where they can actually touch marine wildlife and things like that. So there's lots of activities to do here. It's a very pretty spot. It's quite warm still for August, although it isn't particularly warm on this day. It's not terrible. Now that the clouds have cleared away and it's dry, it's at least it's a decent day now. Yes, don't mind me while I drive on the other side of the road to avoid some bumps and humps. It's one thing I've always got to keep the comfort of the passengers in mind, and there are some really good bumps along the highway. So you have to always be on the watch out for spots to avoid or to slow right down for. A lot of them aren't marked, so it's really sometimes hard to pick out which ones are going to be the roughest ones. But you just watch and you look for rubber tire marks on the road and all those things, and we got a couple of them good whacks. But so we've left. Now what we're going to do here, we're going to stop for a scenic outlook at not Goobies, at Joey Smallwood's outlook, which looks over his hometown, Gambo. Now, there's all sorts of interesting names in Newfoundland. We were originally going to make our coffee stop at a place called Goobies, which is actually properly in the town Come By Chance. So there's all sorts of these wonderful names in Newfoundland. Heart's Content is one. First transatlantic wired signal was received at Heart's Content, Newfoundland. Here's our lookout. We'll just pull in here and everyone's going to get off, take a couple of minutes, take some pictures. Joey Smallwood was the last remaining father of Confederation because he was the Prime Minister of Newfoundland. Back when it was a colony, they had their own Prime Minister, and he brought Newfoundland into Confederation in 1949. So we've driven on to Gander. It's about another half hour from that lookout. And what we're doing here, we're going down this beautiful, beautiful road to a memorial to the Arrow air crash that happened here. Happened here in the late 80s. You can see these towers here on the left. These are the approach lights for the Gander Airport. And what happened is there was a DC-8 that was carrying American military personnel coming home from the Sinai, and they were flying by way of Cologne and Gander. There was a crew change, I guess, in Cologne. That's Cologne, Germany. And they got to Gander to refuel, and when they took off, the plane left the runway and really didn't climb to any degree, and eventually sank down into the trees here on our right, and collided with the ground, exploded, and resulted in the loss of life of everybody on board. So there's a memorial here now that we're just going down to take a look at, overlooking Gander Lake, which is a very sizable lake and is the fresh water supply for the local inhabitants. But it's a very solemn place. It was a sad day in the aviation history, the rich aviation history of the Gander area. After this memorial, I haven't shot anything else past the end of this visit, but after this memorial, we went to the airport and looked at some interesting displays on aviation history in the area, and then we went to our hotel. So that was it for this day, day 11. Thanks for watching, and hope you'll tune in soon again.